Ooh, peace and good evening, everybody. Real lifer, that's right. Right on. Well, it's truly an honor to stand before you tonight as a proud board member and patient of the Tubman Center for Health and Freedom. If you will allow me for a second, I want to begin with something a little personal. And as some of you may know, I'm walking through my own cancer journey right now. And chemotherapy is a big part of my life. And it affects my memory, so I brought some notes tonight to help me stay on track, but also to stay out of trouble. And I can't just blame it all on the chemo. I am getting up there too. So the memory's not exactly what it used to be. So if something comes up during the speech, we're going to blame it on the chemo. Now, with that being said, it gives me a perspective that makes Tubman's mission very personal for me. When I first heard about Tubman, it was in a little space of time before a Zoom meeting began back during COVID days. INA and I worked for different organizations then, and they shared a few words about this new organization that they were going to, which turned out to be Tubman. I remember sitting there thinking, how cool it would be to be part of something like that. Well, fast forward 2.5 years later, and I get a call from a friend of mine, Amani Dinish, also a Tubman board member at the time. He asked me, hey, bro, would you be interested in joining our board? I said yes with the quickness. Now, some of you, if you remember that phrase, the quickness, you understand why the memory is not quite what it used to be. And I bet yours isn't either. He gave me the information I needed, and we hung up the phone. I felt like I had just been drafted into the NFL, the NBA, and won the lottery all in the same day, baby. I was super excited as I told my wife, because we had already developed such a deep respect for Tubman and the people moving it forward. Now I had an opportunity to be a part of this awesome movement. For most of my life, I've carried a fear and mistrust of the healthcare system. I've experienced trauma from doctors and hospitals, so I avoided care. If avoiding doctors counted as a wellness plan, I would have been considered a poster child for good health. But mistrust has its cost. I ignored symptoms, I pushed off checkups, and eventually it caught up with me. That avoidance is a big part of my cancer diagnosis, and that's why Tubman means so much to me, because it shows that a doctor visit doesn't have to be something that we fear. When I first walked into Tubman's healing house, it felt different from the very beginning. I wasn't just a number. My concerns weren't ignored or dismissed. Finally, I was genuinely seen and heard for the first time. At Tubman, you won't have to choose between science and tradition. You're offered both. You get modern medicine alongside care that respects culture, that listens to your story, and that treats the whole person. For me, it was as simple and powerful as getting my COVID vaccine at one of Tubman's Blacksnake events. Those were live, by the way. And alive is another one of those words. If you remember that, you understand why the memory isn't what it used to be. Okay? They say lit nowadays. And later, I began a regimen of acupuncture at the healing house. Now, that may not sound like much to you, but I went from running away from needles to having someone stick me with them on purpose. Okay. But here's what that really means. I began to trust. I began to feel safe in a system I had once avoided. Tubman helped give me a sense of wellness I had never felt. And that's not just my story, that is a glimpse of what Tubman is building here in the Seattle-King County area. We are creating a space where anyone can walk in and feel safe, dignified, and whole. We're a place where families can find care that reflects their realities, their traditions, and their humanity. This is not just a clinic, it is a movement for our community. We are not just talking about health equity, we are building it right here, together. Tonight, as we celebrate what has already been built, but we even more so are building what is to come next. And we get to do that with you. Your presence here is not just attendance. It is a statement that you believe in this vision too. And your support is a partnership in making it a reality. So I want to leave you with this. Healthcare should never be a privilege for a few or a source of fear for anyone. It should be a right to holistic wellness. Together, we are creating that future. Not someday, not somewhere else, right here, right now, in our community, and for generations to come. Thank you very much.